My wife and I have now done a few cruises, and I enjoyed them way more than I ever expected to. But one of my favorite things about a cruise is that you get to go in and try a whole bunch of different places and just kind of taste them. You don't get to see anywhere in depth. It's kind of like in every city you land in, you don't have enough time, you just get to go taste the country. One of my favorite things is being out in a place at 6 a.m. when like stuff's just waking up, the market's alive, and the rest of the city's dead. There's no tourist stuff going on. It's my favorite time to be around. And on a cruise, you miss out on a lot of that. But what you get for that is the ability to try a bunch of different places in rapid fire succession. Well, this New Year's, with my wife's family, we were able to go do this big cruise all around the Caribbean islands. I'd love to show you these beautiful places, and I'll tell you, while I'm super glad to have gone, there's only one of them I'd love to go back to. You gotta stick with me and find out which. So these cruise ships are insanely massive. This one is the MSC Seaside. And I used to think, yeah, it's like you're just trapped on a city with all these people. But now I actually think it's so cool the boats are this big. You're gonna have to hang on. I'll show you why it's so cool later on. So a lot of the cruise ships in the Bahamas kind of make their own island. Like they literally construct their own island. And this is what this is. They call it Ocean Cay, and it's the island constructed by the cruise line MSC, which sounds super cheesy and fake, and it would be if it weren't so cool. It's probably the best beach I've ever been on. Everything is perfect. There's this big lagoon in the middle to go swimming in. It's awesome. Of course, the all-inclusive stuff works where you're on the island. You even have Wi-Fi. It was really great.
Hola chicos, hoy estamos en Puerto Plata, República Dominicana. We're in Puerto Plata, like the Silver Port, Dominican Republic. Super, super beautiful, cool place. It's alive, I love it, it's great. Lots of tourists, of course, but also lots of people just out partying. It is January 1st, Happy New Year. Let's go check it out.
Puerto Plata was really fun. One of the things we learned is the oldest houses, they're like Victorian era houses, are these wooden houses. They have these little ornate types of things, but then a lot of them are kind of run down and not renovated. It adds like real character to it. It's awesome. And this is the main plaza downtown. The main plaza is a super cool place to hang out. They still had all their Christmas decorations up. It's obviously New Year's Day, so everything's still going on. Really fun little place. And we did have time to get a quality meal while we were there in the Dominican Republic. It was really fun to try a bunch of local dishes, like mofongo and bandera and whatever. We got a whole assortment. A little sorry to say, if you're Dominican, I prefer Mexican food. But that said, it was well worth it. Super enjoyable. If you're still here, you probably like the type of content I'm putting out. I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe, and I'll do my best to make sure I'm putting out quality content every week. And this is the fort, just outside of Puerto Plata. It was cute, it's fine. Honestly, if people I know were going, I might tell them, like, if you don't have time, you could skip the fort. It's like, you know, if you have to see it, great, but it's kind of just a little tourist thing to do. Remember how I told you I would show you why I love that the cruise boats are so big? So here we're arriving into San Juan, Puerto Rico. And it's because the cruise boats are so big, you get this unique perspective when you're arriving to places that you would never get any other way. In my experience, it's much cooler when you're arriving to a big city and when the port is like right in the city so you can drive right up to it. And no, like when I used to live in Riga, the cruise ships would pull right up the river and it's super annoying, kind of covers the view from the city. But from the perspective of the cruise boat, it is is awesome. This is by far my favorite part about cruising. So this is actually our balcony from our room. We haven't even gotten up and gotten breakfast yet. When you're arriving into a city, it's often like that. Like you just kind of wake up a little bit early and you step out onto your balcony and you get this incredible view first thing in the morning. And then at the end of the day when you're leaving in the right season, oftentimes you get like sunset colors. It's so cool. You can probably see all the police in the background here. The day we arrived into Puerto Rico, it was like the political government was changing power on that day. So there were kind of police everywhere, but it was super festive. It was actually really, really fun. And the police were super kind. In this case, they were all eating. So we just kind of asked them like, hey, where are you guys eating? And they pointed out the little taco truck that they were buying stuff from. And of course, we had to go try whatever the police are trying. You know it's going to be good if the locals are eating it. So this fort is one of two main forts right in the main city of San Juan. I think actually there might be like two parts of the same fort. The other thing that's cool on this part of the fort is there's these long tunnels that you can walk through connecting different parts of the fort. So this is part of how this fort stood against the Spanish and it stood against the French. Eventually the fort fell to the US Navy and that's how Puerto Rico became part of the United States as a protectorate. These tunnels are how they would mobilize the soldiers from one part of the fort to the other like really quickly. And they put all kinds of ordnance in the tunnels, so if the enemy breached the fort, they just like blow the tunnel. Anyway, it's just really fun to experience stuff like that. This is crazy. In these cannonballs, you can see like the holes in the side. I mean, they look like a bomb from a video game. And I'm sure stuff like this is more normal than I think, but I'd never actually seen it. These forts are beautiful because you get these incredible views over the top of the city and sea views everywhere. The other side of the fort has like this massive cemetery out front with this beautiful pink cupola. It's those views that make it so rad. And here is the real magic to San Juan. It's all about all of these like pastel colored, really cool architecture like homes in the middle of the city. It feels like I could walk here all day and my eyes would never get tired of just seeing all of these different pastel colors. And then like good music and good food, happy people everywhere, just such a great, amazing place. I just love when you find stuff like this when you're traveling. Be afraid and do it now is such a cool thing to say. And all we have is now, I absolutely love it. It reminds me a bit of a place we found in St. Petersburg named Be Thankful for Today. It's so cool. And there are tons of these little monuments and art installations all over the city. Puerto Rico was by far my favorite of all the places we went in the Caribbean. Honestly, I'm glad I've been to Dominican Republic, and if we went to the capital, maybe I'd say something different. And it's cool that we got to go to a few places in Bahamas. I would never really choose to go back to any of them, but if I could go back to Puerto Rico, I would go back 1,000 times. I think it would be a really, really fun place to spend it. And here's that massive cemetery I was talking about over by the other side of the fort. I don't know what it is, I love cemeteries. They're so beautiful. Two of the prettiest flags in the world right here. I know what it is, but combinations of red, white, and blue, so good. Then as we're hurrying on our way back because we haven't made it back to the cruise ship, we ran into this core group singing. It was super cool. I love when that happens. And then as we were leaving, you can see all these little tiny boats following us. I just love that perspective of being on top of this massive, huge ship. And it was definitely not enough time. We will definitely be back. Hasta luego, Puerto Rico. The only other place we went on our trip is Nassau in the Bahamas. It's like the capital of the Bahamas. And I literally didn't take any footage, even though I was carrying my camera around. It's honestly a place I would recommend people just not to go to. Like the downtown felt a little shady, like people could see my camera and their eyes were following me as we walked around. I was not a fan. And if we didn't come from San Juan, maybe it would have been pretty because there are kind of those pastel type of homes. But the architecture is definitely not as cool, and after San Juan, it was just very, very lackluster. There is like a massive hotel that's well known and movies were shot there back in like the 50s or something like that. But the entrance to the hotel, like literally just to go in and walk around the hotel, was like $150 a person per day. No thank you, sir. If you're still here, thanks a lot. I really appreciate your time. And maybe you want to check out one of the videos on screen.